bring all the children back into the room. Ask them to come back into the room. So welcome back, everyone. I hope the young ones have had fun doing their Animal Me quiz. If you've not been able to finish the task, you can always continue the task with the children. And if you have any question, you can ask us through the website, and I would be happy to answer your question. And I also want to say to you that if there is anything specific that the church would want me to do, you can always organize through Sister Amara, to contact me, and I'll be happy to focus on a particular topic. Here, I've just brought in as many as I think you need to have, and then build on them. So now we're getting into future jobs and future skills. So I'm just going to show you this 2-minute video. So this is just a thing that talks about the fact that the future jobs are changing, and the skills that are required for those future jobs are changing as well. But the interesting bit about the change is that human will now have to be more of human. So it's important that you recognize your strengths, because in the world that we're going into now, if you don't have the right skill that makes you human, you will struggle to thrive in that world. So learning to be yourself is very critical in the future. So now I have this quiz, and I want to, I normally focus on a career for each time I have my Triple T session. So in the month of May, we were actually looking at food and drink. And the food and drink is the UK largest manufacturing sector. They contribute over 228 billion to the economy annually. And they employ over 400,000 people in UK wide. So it's a very big sector that you could work in. Now, my question, and I want you to write your answer down, so when I'm giving the answers, you will know if you got it right or not. What does a farm worker do? That is the question. And the possible answer is 1, care for livestock. 2, farming crops. 3, farming fish. Marketing farm products. Procurement and logistics of farm products. All of the above. So just write what you think is the right answer down, and I'm now going to go through all the answers and explain what they are, and then we'll conclude on the real answer. So a farmer worker, I will start from the beginning. They care for livestock. These are animals on ground. These are animals on ground. They also care for crops. These are plants. They also care for sea animals, including fish and other sea animals. So a farm worker could be doing any of these 3. Also, you could be a farm worker, but you're not doing the farming, but what you are doing is marketing the farm products. So that could be what you do there. Or you might not be in the farm, but you are helping to procure things that the farmers will need, and the logistic of getting things from the farm to the manufacturer, or getting things to the farmers as well. So there are people that are doing those type of job. So the correct answer will be all of the above. So a farm worker could be doing any of this job. So the food and drink industry covers everything relating to working outdoors, farming crops and livestock, sea catching or farming fish, food production, new product development, food scientists, food technologists, or food engineer, or even engineers that are making machineries that we use. It also involves marketing of products, procurement, transport, and logistics. So there are a lot of jobs available in these sectors. These are some of the jobs, and I have a link for you to look at those jobs and click on each of them to understand what they do. So these are things that you could do with children at home. And these are jobs that are evolving in that sector, the food and drink sector. These are jobs that are evolving, including quality assurance officer, brand identity developer, digital marketing specialist, data analyst, and social video designers. Within the food and drink sector, these jobs are really evolving, and there are new jobs that are still coming in that sector. Now, let's shift the focus to another sector, the healthcare sector. If you're interested in working with people and you get satisfaction knowing that you are helping people who need it, and you have passion for improving lives, then you are likely going to enjoy working in the healthcare sector. Now, the quiz for the healthcare sector is, which job is in the healthcare sector? So which of this job? A data analyst, a robotic engineer, an accountant, chefs, or a software designer? Or do you think they are all of the above? So please write down your own answer and then compare it to what I'm going to be explaining. So within the healthcare sector, we have data analysts that are analyzing patients' record, they are analyzing drugs record, they are analyzing experiments that they are carrying out. We have robotic engineers that are building robots that we use in hospitals now in the healthcare sector. In the healthcare sector, they have accountants managing money, paying staff, buying things, budgets. So they need an accountant. They need a chef that is cooking for patients and staff in the hospital and in the within the healthcare sectors, and those that are working to understand how nutrition can help with healing people. Software designers, there are lots of software applications that they use within the healthcare sector, and they need designers for that. So all of these jobs are also available in the healthcare sector. So the healthcare sector include curative, those that are helping us when we're sick; preventive, those that are supporting to do things that will prevent us from getting sick; rehabilitative, when we get healed. Sometimes people lose the use of some part of their body and they need help to be able to use or do things the way they used to do them, or adapt the way they do things. And then palliative, sometimes people come to the end of their life, and when that is recognized, they put them through palliative care to make coming out of this life a bearable experience for them. So it's all about caring for people within the healthcare sector. And these are numerous jobs that are available in the healthcare sector at this time. So you would have the link to that so you can see them, including pharmacy technician, dispensing optician, podiatrists, anatomy pathology. So there are quite a few jobs that are available there. And in the future, these are jobs that we're getting in the healthcare sector: robotics engineer, virtual reality designer, user experience designer, Internet of Things software engineer, and data analyst. So these are jobs that are coming now within the healthcare sector. So you could end up working in that sector. So I'm now coming towards the end of this presentation. Parents are encouraged to tap into my Triple T activity, and you can book. I would acknowledge you and honor a session with you and your twin, on a one-to-one with you and your twin, if you can show me evidence that you're doing activities within the Triple T. And you can do that by logging the activity. So you don't even have to attend on the second Saturday, but go to my YouTube channel, do the activities, and then log what you've done with your twin. And that would guarantee that if you want to have a twin coaching session with me, you and your twin, then you can book it on my website. Where you will do all of this thing is available for you on the link that I've shown you earlier. I also have the focus resources where you parents and even the teenage can find yourself to understand more about yourself, the opportunities that you're pursuing, communication, using information. There are more information that are linked to your opportunities as well that you can use. And starting, this is about getting in, growing on the job, and also getting grounded on the job. So you can use some of the resources that is available on that website. So I want you parents to be aware that if you imagine the progress in a child's education and a child's school and life successes, if you parents embrace your role as your child's first teacher, what a difference you're going to make as a role model. And for the children, the Bible says, children, obey your parents in the Lord. So because the Lord has given you these parents, for this is right, honor your father and mother. Take note of this. This is the first commandment with a promise. And the promise is that things may go well with you and that you may live long in the land. So going back to parents, it's important that parents are fulfilling the role to help these children nurture their gifts and talents. The next time I will be having my Triple T forum will be the 12th of June. So you can join us live, where we'll be looking at another twin task. We'll be having talent discovery charts, and then parents will be learning to treasure their young person. You can read about our blog. If you go to samshoyombo.com, this is blogs that are written for adults, and you can read some of those blogs. And I'm just going to show you this. I hope that the volume will work on this occasion.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability. You're capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. You gotta sadness and misery. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed. Take control of how you feel. In every step you come step. Work on yourself.
That's just an overview of what you can see on my website. And hopefully you will join us next time. So I've come to the end of my presentation for you. It's time for me to answer all the questions.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Sam. Thank you so much. I think we have just a couple of questions. It's been directed to, I think they put it on the live chat. I'm sure your assistant has, or
Yes.
have him if he can. Better still, I think Johnson can probably read out the question.
Yeah, Johnson, can you read out the questions, please?
Okay, the first question says, the activity of the twins is not clear. There's a reference to some slides. Where do we get the slides?
Okay, apologies for that. I think you need to go into my website, samshoyombo.com. So I will just try and put that on for you. samshoyombo.com. So that's the website. And then you go to the Triple T. And when you go to the Triple T, you go into the train starts, because there are 3 activities that happen in Triple T. The main page is the blog page for children, for parents. And then you go into the twin task. And if you come down here, you will see the task of April. And these are the worksheets and presentation that they need to be doing. And also the task for May, that is the Animal Me, the holiday planning, spot the difference, and the Animal Me quiz. So that's where they get all those things for. They just click on that, and then they'll be able to download it, and they can look at the video as well. That the video will tell them, will present what they are doing to them. Okay, next question, please.
Can we have your details?
Yes, you have my details through my website. So if you need to contact me as a parent, so let me go onto the website here again, book appointment. So let me go into the book appointment and explain things clearly. Now, for the teenagers, if they need to contact me, I don't encourage teenagers to contact me unless they've done some activity. And I encourage them to use more of their careers advisor in their school. Now, I understand that sometimes they want a flavor of someone like me, probably because I will understand them better. So if they need to have completed my focus. When they go into focus, they need to have completed the Find Yourself and the Dream and the Opportunity activities. And they can book a 15-minute session with me here through the Dream Coaching. So the Dream Coaching is on the list that will on the worksheet that I'm giving to the teenagers so they can book that. Now, for adults, it's the same principle. If adults need support, they can also go into, they need to have completed, when you go into the focus page, the resources page, I go to the resources, and you have you need to have done things on find yourself and opportunity. Once you have done things on find yourself and opportunity, then you go into the contact and book an appointment. And the dream coaching is the first one that you can book, and it's free. So you book a time with me, and you need to fill the pre-dream coaching. That is just checking on the things that you've done. Otherwise, people are just coming to me without doing their own little background work that will help them to make the session more productive and effective for them. So that's how you can contact me. Once I've been working with people and they've gone through all the process with me, they can contact me as a protege. And that's a 30-minute session, but I expect them to have gone through the process of developing themselves before I spend 30 minutes with them, because more of the help is available there for them. Now, for parents and twin, I have a 30-minute session for them. If your child is done the triple T with me, any of the session, if they completed either the April or the May one, you can contact me through this and book a session, and I'll be happy. I prefer to meet the twin and the parents, even though I would have the parent to put a plaster in their mouth when they come. So they're not going to talk. They're just going to hear the conversation between me and the twin, so that they know the kind of conversation we're having. It's a twin time, but I always want the parents to be there with them. And you can book this 30-minute session with me. And I encourage that to be once a year, so that the time is spread across for people, and make sure that you've done the task. So you are actually coming for questions about things that you don't really know. I hope I've explained how to contact me like that to you.
How do you guide your children between settling for just any career and you helping them based on their potential? Some children will say, I just want to do this, but as parents, you can see they have capacity to be and do more. I know we are not meant to decide for them.
Okay. Thank you. That's a very strong, good question. And I am very grateful to the person that asked that question. That is a thing where parents have conflicts with careers advisor. Now, you can see the potential of a child and you think they can do much more. But if the child is telling you that this is their interest, you need to be led by what that child is saying. There is no point in us rushing them. And I'm going to tell you one classic story of a young child is now in his 20s. He wanted to go into apprenticeship, and he was in London. He wanted to go to apprenticeship, and the parents wanted him to go and do, I can't remember the course he went to do in the university. And he was guided in that route rather than the apprenticeship. And the young guy, the first year, he couldn't cope. The second year, it was pre-mental health problem. It was nearly getting into mental health, and he withdrew from the university without any qualification for 2 years. Now, he's actually now outside of university, and is now doing something through Open University, and is doing working, and exactly what he wanted to do, because he could have gone into apprenticeship. So what I will say is that if your child is telling you what they want, focus on understanding how they can get to that thing that they want, because the skills are so transferable now. And like we hear from the Screen Agers generation video, that they will do so many jobs. So if it's not working for them, they will find themselves out and they will get into something else. But what is most important that will help personal development is that they're doing what they enjoy at a particular time. I was telling Sister Amara that while I was working in IT, I was making so much money, but that was the worst time of my life. But I'm making less now, but this is the most productive, this is the happiest time I've ever had. And it's important that they're doing what they want to do. Yes, you can show them that why they could do this, why this will be beneficial to them, but let that decision be their own at any time. And show to them that you are listening, and don't be upset if they get it wrong. We saw it in the video that they will get it wrong, but they would know how to retrace themselves and get it right. And if I say to us parents, my wife went to do nothing at the age of 40. At the age of 40. So they can get it right at any time. And they're in a world where information is readily available to them and they can get all the support. Now, if you are telling them to do what you feel is right for them, at that point in time, they may rebel what you're telling them and just do it because they want to be in your good books, but not with their heart. They're just doing it with their head. And that might change. That might mean that they won't be as productive. And remember that the human skill is more important in the world that they're going into. So their own interest is vital. I hope I'm able to answer that question.
All right. How do you balance the desire of a child who wants to pursue their talent or skill as a career as against going to school to study? For example, wanting to be a sports person, that is a footballer.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's a very good question. My nephew had that challenge last year. He wants to be is in London, and it's just getting to what we will call S. It's just finishing S6. I still don't understand their years in England, but it's just getting to what we will call S6. And he wanted to leave. The parents wanted him to go to university, but he wanted to be a footballer. So I sat with him and I said, I tried to understand the reason around what is his motivation about the football. And if he has the motivation about the football, it's quite important we support him to explore that. But I made him realize that there must be a backup. So we needed to look for a backup should in case it's similar to children that want to go into the army, children that want to go into, there are some things that is a chance thing that you get into it. I can't think about them off and at the moment, but anything that is off chance, the way you get to them is, yes, support them to find a way into that, and then have a backup that is still linked to that interest. So my nephew in Scotland, we have courses in colleges and university like sports coaching and things like that, that will mean that they can still be doing their sports, their interests. They can still be playing for any club they want to play with while they are developing that side. They're developing the courses that they potentially could fall back to and still be linked to their interests. So that is very possible. And when I was showing you the Edinburgh College courses, this is where you could have gone into the college and look at courses that would align with that interest and encourage them to do that course while they're still in school, so that they're already building a solid backup. Because if it aligns to their interest, they're going to thrive in it. They're going to be happy. So you have not taken football away. You have not stopped them from going to the army. But what you have done is you have helped them to be developing that interest. And they can completely take a roundabout turn. And the child that wants to be a footballer might then say that, I just want to be a librarian, that kind of a thing, you know. So they can just come up because something has interested them to go that route. And the time will always be there for them to change. But the most important thing is they are following their own passion. And we're supporting them to make the best of that interest.
What if your child is very talented and good at playing football when the training sessions are on Sundays, when he's meant to be in church?
Okay. Now, I'm the person that has that question. I'm going to ask, is the pastor here? I'm the principal for the children's church, Sister Amara. Can I answer that question as a careers advisor, or can I answer that question as a Christian?
Both. Just give
Both.
us
Answer from both perspectives.
Diplomacy, Christian diplomacy. Now, I would say the question, Sister Amara, I want your mic on so that you answer me. Now, it's you that I want to face now. I'm not going to put the person on the spot. Whoever has that question, I won't put you on the spot, but I'll put Sister Amara on the spot. Sister Amara, would that child coming to church on Sunday, would he hear the sermon in church on Sunday?
no. He wouldn't hear the sermon if he doesn't.
So
come to
how many loss is that child making for that period? Is it 1 loss or 2 loss?
For not coming to church is one.
No, for coming to church because you want them to be there. Is it making 1 loss or 2 losses?
2 losses. He's losing for not being in football, and if he's not paying attention in church as well, so he's lost both.
Would that child really thrive as a Christian, grow as a Christian, or rebel as a Christian?
I think he will definitely be doing what his parents ask him. He might not really fulfill his purpose and may hate most of the things going on in church.
Okay.
Basically.
Now, what could you do as a parent to still let the child be able to get involved in church, even though it's obvious that the time for the football is at church time? What could you as a parent do to help that child to, they're going to attend that, you cannot change that, it's on a Sunday, the time you go to church. What could you as a parent do to help that child?
I think basically at the moment we're having that challenge as well. My son is playing football in church. So we have spoken to the coach. It's just all about you having a good communication with people you're working with. So in terms of Sunday service, if it doesn't work with your time coming to church, you can speak with the coach. They have weekend footballs, which is Saturday. So you look for the appropriate time that is quite suitable for them. Because what happens as a Christian, if your child is playing football, you have to take them. So both you and your child is missing out. So that's where we have issues. You can ask your child to just go to football while you come to church. Okay, so we just have to like balance both. So you don't miss out, your child don't miss out. And you see these days, we have the option of just going to church once a day, probably. And the child not attending church as well at all during the week is quite an issue. They might thrive in football, but they're not learning the things of God. So it's just having that balance. You can manage it. If the time is 11 or is 11, know when the church is starting. The child can come all the way from football immediately they finish church. If it doesn't work at all, see if you can get resources from the children's department that can help the child. I'm just, I don't know if that answers a bit of the question somehow. But yeah, just working around it and make sure they are benefiting and you as well benefit.
Thank you, Sister Amara. Now I'm going to give you my own perspective to that.
Okay.
The football is that child's calling. Church doesn't have to be on a Sunday. So now the issue is that you have to miss church as well because the child has to go there. But you can delegate that adult responsibility to another adult, probably a friend's parent. By the time you go the first, second, third time, and you build networks, or it can be that if you're two parenting, or the child has a senior sibling that could go with them. It could be things. These are part of things that we sacrifice as family. Remember, this time that you have to do that will fade away very soon. Now, what you can do as a parent is, these days, things get recorded that you do in church. Now, you and your child can have a time that you go through that church message together and you discuss it. It's a bonding time. So you are actually giving the child the best of both worlds so that they are a happy child already. And then you are now giving them things that will help them to nurture that root of happiness that is already laid in them, rather than a child that is just doing it to conform with the parents and what they are doing. So that is what I would say, that if it's something to do with their interests, I would prioritize that for that child and see in the world that we have, how can I use technology to still get them to get the information they're missing in church. And also, are there other churches that is a live church that you have vetted, that they have a good youth ministry that your child could go to instead? But you need to vet that to know that they're still going to be getting the message, because the word of God is the same. When you go get the right church, they can go there at a time that may be suitable to them. Would the weekday service be more appropriate for the child to attend and learn more, and you spend an hour with them to go through the recording of Sunday and you give your own perspective of it? It's a strong bonding time, probably better than they having to be in the church on that day. That's my own personal and from Christian perspective as well, that when it comes to interest, if you take a child away from their interest, you are not getting them to do what you want them to do, and they're still losing their interest, and you're already losing the trust that the child would have for you. So it's important that you work around it. It's a challenge, and the interest supersede what you want. Next question, please.
Okay, and the last question is, what is the difference between national and higher exam?
Okay, thank you. I know that I'm with an audience from Africa, so let me put it in an easy way, and then I will then explain. The national is like you're doing O levels, and the IAS is like you're doing A levels. So now let me explain it in proper English. Nationals is what you do, is what you do when you are in the broad general education. The first 3 years of secondary education is called broad general education, and the subject that they do are assessed on national level, and they are awarded. And when you're doing national, you don't do exams. You only do assessments. But when you get to highest, you have to do exams. And then the national 5 as well, some of them have exams elements of it as well, the national 5. So the national 5 is like your O-level exam. That's the stage that you're doing that. And then the IAS is like you're doing A-levels. Now, people say that back in Africa, people repeat classes, but here they just promote them. Yeah, somebody could be in S5 and they're still doing S3 maths. They're doing national 3 maths, but they are already in S5. So they assess them on their achievements. So it doesn't matter that they all have to be within their age range. For those of us that went to school very early, I finished my secondary school at the age of 15, and I was the youngest in my set. So how will I ever be a senior boy in that school? I can never be a senior boy, because I was just a child when I have people that are already 19, 20 in the same class with me. So this system allows the child to be with their peer and to excel among their peer. So the head boy of that year will be in that age range as well. So all their developments is equal. So each one can stand out. And people like us, didn't struggle with self-esteem for a while, because sit down, you're too young. What do you know? Sit down. That's what my classmates are passing the exam better than they do, but because they already have beers and things like that, that's what they tell me. So I want you to celebrate the system, but each of them are on their own level. So when a child is sitting with me, for me to assess their academic attainments, I will be asking them, please tell me the subject that you're taking. And then they will say, oh, I'm doing biology. Then I'll ask, what level? Then they will tell me, oh, I'm at National 4. So that means that they are not ready to do the National 5. You understand? So I already know that. So they tell me, and then they say, oh, I'm doing PE. I'm doing IAS in my PE, because they're in S5. They're doing IAS in PE, but they're doing National 4 in biology. Potentially, they could grow and do National 5 in biology and still go and do something with PE. So that's the difference. Now, I will also talk about advanced higher. Advanced higher is like what you would do in the first year of university. You are already a step into the university. So sometimes when people stay and they need, if they've achieved higher and they go into advanced higher, it will help them, but it doesn't give them anything extra to get to the course, because if they had a higher, it will be accepted, and if they have advanced higher. But somebody that stays to do advanced higher, when they get to university, they will probably excel more in that subject and have more fun in their first year of university. So some of them prefer to do that because they feel that they are ready to do what they want to do. Linked to that question as well, I want to say that I have people that think if my child does not get into the course they want, they just want to put them on the course that is available. Don't do that with a child. If it means they have to have a gap year, let them use that gap year as a building, as a skills development in the area that they are interested in. The fact that they're going to miss a year from going to uni does not mean that they're losing a year of their life, because when they get into what they will excel in, I didn't know this until I did careers advice. When I did the course, I constantly always want to learn. But this is me that will say, I don't like reading. But when you find the right thing that you're doing, you will excel in them. So when it comes to university stage, please, if they are interested in pharmacy, keep them. If they don't get into pharmacy, find out the reason and let them do what, it might just be because they haven't got life experiences to show that they're interested in being a pharmacist. That's why they have not offered them. So let them have the 1 year to do all the things that will give them that. Is there any question, Josie?
No, that's all. That's all.
Thank you very much. If you have any question about, you can use my blog to, when you read the blog and you want us to get into discussion, you can just comment on the blog. The problem is that people are not yet commenting. I just opened the website March 22nd. When we start commenting on the blog, people will start getting discussion and we'll be informing and learning together. So you can put a question, or you can put a direct question to me to contact us on the website, and I will answer your question as well.
Thank you. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Sam. God bless you for all you've just taught us today.